that? So all of a sudden, I'm
Hey,
coming to you live.
hey.
I'm coming to you live from the subarctic. I'm Craig Martelle, and as my new tradition, it's Monday. Just in case you weren't aware, it's Monday for our viewers. So, where are you coming from, Michelle?
I am coming from a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm actually in Villarica. And so I am here. It's gloomy, so that's why I've got the lights on because it's gloomy outside.
Yeah, my niece lives in Atlanta. She works for Microsoft.
Oh, cool.
She's one of their executives. So she lives in. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't deserve to go visit that area. It's too ritzy for me. So I'm in the
I have an
backwoods of
idea. Yeah, I have an idea of where she lives if she works for them. Yeah, it is a ritzy
yeah,
area.
yeah.
Well, thank you so
Well.
much for allowing me to be here. I just want to make sure I said that. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate you.
Oh, sure. No, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of our guests take an hour out of their day to talk with the 20 books to 50K crowd. It looks like we have people online so they can hear us. Michael and I
Okay.
talked for 5 minutes and we didn't see any comments. It's like, what the hell's going on? So we went over there. It's like, we're not live. It said we were live. We're not live. So we restarted it and hey, then people started popping up.
Right.
Hey, you're late. I'm like, oh man. Yeah, it was weird. So you just never know. And then I once made it to the 30-minute point on a solo thing.
Oh,
And people are like,
yeah.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you because it wasn't, it was weird. Anyway, it looks like we're good now. So, Michelle Spiva, you, uh, uh, I contacted you about 20 Books Vegas 2020, and you said, hey, I've got a topic. Let me try this. And I said, that sounds fascinating because that's something that we don't do readers and then write something that will appeal to them. And you're like, I have a different idea. So talk to us about what you were thinking for
All
that.
right. So let me time myself here. um, as you can see, I have really bad carpal tunnel, and my ability to crank out the books and to keep up was decreasing. On top of that, as you can see, all the gray hair, this is real, Craig. This is not premature. And so, with all of the
What
with all the issues with, I was like, I cannot keep up like this. So, believe it or not, I
yeah.
spent 18 months, almost 2 years, back 2018 and 2019 studying. I went in and I studied Amazon because, like I said, I am determined to make a living by what I sell. And it was getting harder and harder. And I had to dust off all of that knowledge and chutzpah. And I started to figure out that Amazon was changing. And what they were doing was, first of all, they were positioning themselves to be number 6 of the big 6 and poaching people. And they were doing the Walmart method where they go in, they figure out what you do. And the next thing, they've got either the indie author doing 3-book deals with them, and promoting it or not. And I was like, I don't necessarily know if I even want to do that. Nobody ever approached me, but I had to figure out something. And there are a few things that I found. Going from Jeff, what their market share and all of that, I was like, okay, they look the same. But when I started researching what they were doing with AMS ads, it started to click. And that was that they wanted to turn that into something that would go after big business. They had already pushed Microsoft out from the S3 cloud service, and now they wanted to make their mark in marketing. And they couldn't make enough if they just continue to let us use their platform at a cheap price to market to them. And so they had this change around the second quarter of 2018 where the pricing started going up, the keywords, it didn't work. And I was like, what bleep, bleep, bleep. And yeah. And so the short of that was I finally figured out, and I wrote it down. I was like, Amazon treats us as parasites, and they want to partner with people or companies that will bring them traffic instead of using the traffic they generate. So my whole world changed, and I started testing out. And I went back old school, Craig. I went back to Pulp Fiction to test my stuff out. Good old Lester Dent, 6Ks, testing crazy stuff out. And what I did is I started reteaching myself the skill of converting traffic outside of Amazon. So if you'll allow me, I'll just want to get to it because I wrote down
rock and roll. You're on a roll. You're on a roll. God bless your soul.
Thank you. I wrote down a few steps just in case, because I can get, into stuff. So what I wanted to make sure that I did is to prove to them that I'm a good partner and that I am not looking at them as my quasi or de facto employer. I am not going to just look at them to provide the people for me to sell to. And the reason why we need to know that now is because they are not doing so much of trying to market to bring people to them because they've become part of the mainstream. And when you are part of the mainstream, all you do now is brand, because they're established as the online retailer. Okay. Mm-hmm. And with that, now we are truly loss leaders. We are the ones that get them in, and they have proven when you have, and there was a Market Watch article where I found this out. When you bring someone in to them through a book and they are a qualified buyer, meaning they go to your book page and they click buy, they have proven that their amount of sales per person that is done like this is up like about $3. And so when they do that, they can now mirror that type of demographic person, and they'll send you that traffic because they're like, they have vetted their traffic. They know their audience, and we're going to trust them. And if they trust you, yes. Were you going to say something?
And on that point, you get people there. So your marketing campaign is going great. You get people to the site. Now it's also very, very important for your book, if you want to get algo love, that you get the conversion. Your blurb has to be killer, because when they click buy, that's bonus points on your book's data that then they recycle it. If a lot of people go to your book and nobody buys it, they're going to bury it, because Amazon is all about making the sale. And it's great that, Michelle's research on this is spot on. And going to Market Watch, good on you. That's businessy stuff. I love that.
Well, I'm an MBA from corporate America. And so I had to remember that. I was like, Michelle, you are a freaking MBA with 20 years corporate marketing experience.
Get
Use
on
your head.
Good.
So
I'm sorry. Keep rolling.
Yeah, so I treated it that way. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that is part of doing it to your market. And I just wanted to give this background, but let me just quickly sum that up, and then I'm going to give some steps, and then we can, continue to talk about those steps. So when I started testing it out, I tested it out with some of my direct clients, and we changed the way we did our book description. I started really treating it as a sales page instead of a holding place for my books. I still haven't cracked how to get that publisher's head where you can get that nice little picture in the middle now, but I'm working.
You can't anymore. They did away with that program, so you have to be like grandfathered in. So yes, and now we've studied that a lot, and we're not sure that you get any more conversions. However, some big players, they keep doing it. So the answer is, if they're doing it, they're probably confident that it's increasing their ROI. Because when I looked into it, it was $600 additional per title to get that in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
anyway.
and I was so when it first started out, that's what I was looking at. I was like, well, what's going on? And actually, when I called, everybody was like, oh, no. And so you're right. They're like, no, we don't offer that. I was like, okay, whatever. So I just assumed you had to be a publisher status or whatever. Okay, so we changed the way, or I changed the way I approached the book description for Above the Fold. And the reason why I wanted to say that is because one of the biggest ahas that I got, or wisdom smacks, that's what I call my podcast, was that the screens are shrinking and you are no longer able to really capture people's attention with all of this real estate of a laptop. You've got to make it look like you want it to when they hit it for your phone. And so instead of starting with our traditional introducing the characters with a nice, invite and all of that, a solid headline. I'm talking about movie trailer type headline, in a world, or, if you're ready, and putting in subliminal messaging to give them a command. Like, if you're ready to lose your weekend, read now. Just to the point, call to action, first thing. And then, you can move into all of the other things that we know work. Okay, so let's go back to the market, because all of this works if you have your market. So the next thing I had to realize was that, are you ready for this one, Craig? Amazon readers are not, did I freeze? Am I okay?
No, you're good. You're
okay. Good. Amazon readers are not our market. No, they're not. And the reason why they're not our market is because if you go and you look at your sales page and how much real estate is used to get people off of your page, you will quickly learn you're not my market. What you are is you are part of the mainstream of readers who everybody is fighting for in Amazon. Now, you guys, maybe you've read this book called Blue Ocean or Blue Ocean Strategy, 2 different books, same authors. But the premise is this, that when you want to segment and position yourself, and I know I might be talking a little MBA-ish here, but this stuff works. When you want to position yourself so that you can get attention and you're a small player in a big ocean of sharks, you have to move out of the red chum field arena and move into a blue ocean. Now, I'm going to preface that. That is if you are blessed to be a small team, meaning you might still be the writer, but you've got a team of people helping you. Maybe you collaborate. Maybe you have dedicated folks who do your editing and all this kind of stuff, and you got an operation going. But come here, y'all. Come here. I'm talking to you. You solo writing by yourself, trying to write at the kitchen table while everybody eating, and you hope you don't get eggs in your laptop. You have to move to a blue lagoon. And a blue lagoon is where you pull them in and you make your market. So here's how you do it. You ready, Craig? Can I go on and tell them?
Yeah. Blue Lagoon, no, Phoebe Cates. How can you miss that? But anyway, that's a completely different 1970. That's completely different from when I grew up.
I know exactly. Oh my God, Craig, you. Yes.
Sorry, you lost me there, but I'm back now.
Oh my God, that is too funny. Okay, so when you want to do some damage, there are some skill sets that you have to bone up on. And those skill sets are, you have to start learning, first and foremost, how to attract people. And the first thing is you don't try to go to the aggregators of emails of readers. We move out of the book market and you go to the meta market, which is entertainment. So you'll find yourself figuring out, where do these people congregate? I'm gonna give you the short answer. Go to places like your fandoms. Go to IMDb. Go to ranker.com. Go to Reddit. Go to all of these different places. And what you're going to do is you're going to peek in on them and start to look at what they enjoy in their entertainment. And number one, figure out the trope. And the reason why you're going to figure out the trope is because what you're doing is, in the market world, we talk about transferable product. So you go into a adjacent, or in this particular example, an upper level market, which would be entertainment, which books are under, and you figure out what those people are consuming, because the market is always right. And guess what, you guys, when you do this, you get to drag off of the big boys who are spending all this market research. Now, you might be saying, Michelle, that would be trend chasing, because they're usually behind us. And you would be right. But what you want to do is figure out the trope of what they're consuming, whether it be in esports, whether it be in movies, TV, YouTube, pop culture. That's why, I said go to ranker.com, where they have lists that people vote on every day of pop culture, and look and see what is the recurring theme, what is the recurring trope of what they love. And then what you'll then do is 9 times out of 10, you can go and test this out. And I'm going to give you just 3 quick ways. You can test this out by finding some kind of related Reddit. And when in doubt, just go to Reddit/writing prompts and look at that. There are a lot of people making a lot of noise on Reddit's writing prompts because they get to daily audition for people to see how well they write. And sometimes you'll hit the people that are in what you want to write, and sometimes you won't. And when you don't, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to do a Google search for Discord groups, DISCORD. Discord. Discord is where people who were disgruntled with Facebook's privacy issues and Twitch's Amazon's ownership of Twitch go to have a private group to discuss things, whether it be books, games, you name it. And you can have a free one. You just sign up, do your own Discord server, and then start inviting people. It's going to look old school, but there is a lot you can do in there. I'm in some of them where we do sprints, and there's a way you can code it for it to make your sprint. And so, like, for instance, I was talking to I have a group of people I'm training right now. And I was like, if you love Animal Crossing right now, and you want to make a little subgroup of people who love Animal Crossing, set up a Discord group. Tell people I'm an author who loves that. Join me if you want to have conversations, of how, you waiting for Flick to come and buy your tarantulas or your butterflies or whatever it is, and get in there and talk to them. Because what you're now, so let me not move ahead. So Discord is one of them. But say, for instance, you don't want to have that responsibility of being a group owner, because it's a lot of work, whether you like it or not, and you don't have a moderator to help you. The next thing you can do is you can hop over to Royal Road, royalroad.com, and Royal Road and Web Novel. I would say on Web Novel, don't put anything up, just watch them. But on Royal Road, they have proven that they are now the new king makers, especially in fantasy, sci-fi, gamer lit, and all of those, or lit RPG, whatever you want to call it. You go in there, and if you decide to, you can start testing out your stuff. Put up a chapter a day or a chapter a week. And because they are global, they will quickly give you feedback. There are a lot of books who have made the jump from posting on Royal Road to the big time, bypassing Amazon. There are a few books. One is called Everyone Loves Big Chest. And it's got a girl with a big chest on it, but she's sitting on a chest, and that chest is what they're really talking about. And it went from there to Audible, caught on, then they published on Amazon, and now they're a whole big thing. But these are places where you're going to start to find your congregants. So let me pause for the cause, Craig, because I'm gonna move into steps on how to start really building your market. If you want to ask me something or anything.
Well, I definitely need to comment on the Phoebe Cates and Brooke Shields controversy ongoing in the comments. The yeah, Blue Lagoon was Brooke Shields, but there was another movie with a young Phoebe Cates and a young dude who were trapped on a desert island by themselves. And yes, a young Brooke Shields is not in the one where she was 14 and as a child prostitute. That was a horrible movie. I mean, horrible to watch. It was a one of those that brought a social issue into the limelight, which is what I my science fiction. Star Trek, the original series, brought social issues from the 60s into a place where they were safe to talk about. So I always use that as my model of this is, I mean, even today, that kind of science fiction is very popular, making it safe to discuss social issues without preaching or climbing on a soapbox or doing anything that might turn people off, because everyone is your potential reader, and you only lose from there. So what you're doing with the market research is exceptional, and you've been great so far, being very clear in the approach that people can take. I think this is going to be one of our most watched episodes because of those steps that you're outlining. So pray continue. Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome, Craig. Like I said, Craig, when Craig calls, I'll be like, okay, wait, y'all, Craig, let me get in, talk to Craig. All right. So this is going to be the journey that you take to move from being at the mercy of Amazon or even larger email aggregators. And what you're going to do is you're going to go through being a servant to a foot soldier, to a comrade, to a respected leader or influencer. Okay. That is the process that you're going to go through. So as I said before, our first step is to start locating where your peeps are online, but don't look for readers. Readers, bad. People looking for entertainment, good. Okay. It's going to be hard, but you don't want to look for someone who is identifying as a reader because they don't care about you. They care about books. And there are two types of readers, and we get them wrong. And too many people have been dating the wrong reader. There are bibliophiles who love to read. Then there are bibliomaniacs who have a psychosis where they hoard books and they're like Cookie Monster. I eat all the cookie. I want all free, all 99 cents. And so what ends up happening is they are out on the hunt, and they are the easy, my grandmother used to call it the trash that rises to the surface. But they are the easy gets. They are the book, and they come and you think that you've got this large list and you think that you have a good reader when you have a hoarder of books. Oh, me like that. Think of Lord of the Rings with Gollum. He's like, oh, pretty, my pretty. That's how they're treating the books. And they are not loyal. They have an issue and they just like to collect them, and they'll probably never read your books. And if you start trying to market to them on your list, they're going to be the ones reporting you, getting your stuff shut down. So that is the why Michelle is telling you, don't fool with the readers. Okay. Instead, what you're going to do is I am going to move you out of the bell curve of people in your market. Okay, so imagine, if you will, there is this bell curve, and in the middle is where most people are. And if you split that middle down half, and if you look at the right, that's going to be the late mainstream. That is where most readers are. That is where they congregate, and they go to Amazon. And they're going to be the people who are always down for whatever Amazon is saying. They're your best, they're best selling and all of that. And so they are going to be in the beaten mainstream. What you want to do is you want to move to the left. And the way the market is set up is you have you have your innovators, which only constitutes about 2.5% of the market. You don't want them, because the innovators are always on the hunt for new. They are just like bibliomaniacs, because they are driven by new, now, next, and they ain't loyal either. But oh, we have a sweet spot as indies. And the reason why we have the sweet spot is because we can maneuver faster than the mainstream, faster than your Hachette's and Simon & Schuster and Amazon and all of them. So our sweet spot is we're going after the early adopters and possibly the early mainstream, but really we're going after the early adopters. That is why we are moving outside of Amazon and we're going to the industry, because when you start getting the attention of the people who are in the entertainment and they're like, there's a book that I can get my entertainment out of too. Ding, ding, ding. You have identified an early adopter, because early adopters will only read your book if they find benefit. Whereas innovators are just, oh, it's new? Okay. And then they tell no one and they're on to the next thing. They actually think that you become corrupt when anybody else finds out about you. So they're not going to help you. So our sweet spot is going to, what'd you say?
So they sound like hipsters.
But yeah, but it can be of any demographic, age, or whatever. That's another reason why I stopped trying to make such a demographic and psychographically driven avatar. I did away with that. Now they inform me, but what I've moved into is called jobbing. Meaning that you're looking for people who have a job and your book or your brand is the applicant for that job. That's why you can now go into the entertainment industry, and those people who are there are advertising, entertain me. I have a position open for you to entertain me. And when you have gone in and started to see what kind of tropes are exciting, when you have, should I put my reader magnet on Royal Road? Test out only a little sample of it. And what you'll start to do in about a week or so, when people start looking for new stuff, they'll let you know if they like it. Because if you're doing anything outside of fantasy and that kind of stuff, when you're doing romance, you're competing with Asian romance, and so you might want to test it out, because our romance is a little more. So be careful with that. But anyway, I digress. Going back to this, when you are starting to get your own market, because what you're going to now be doing is you're learning the skill of not only converting traffic to potential sales, but you're now learning how to product position. That is one of the classic 4 P's of marketing. You have product, price, place, and oh my gosh, it'll come to me, the last one after place. Anyway, I digress. But what I wanted to say is that don't think that just because someone is talking about a television series, a movie, or a game, that they're not your audience, because they are. Because they are outwardly advertising that I am looking to be entertained. And when you stop looking for just readers and you expand out to people who are looking to be entertained, your whole world of who you can make and turn into your readers will explode. Now, let me tell you about these types of early adopters. They are loyal. They will stand 10 toes for you, and they will not be moved. If they like you and they go to Amazon for you, they're going to push the button. I could put Nanny Nanny Boo Boo as my headline on Amazon, and they will be like, I'm picking up whatever she's putting down, and they will smash the button for you, because you are learning the know, like, trust strategy of marketing. And get this, when you appeal to them, and the way you appeal to them, because most people are like, okay, I got you. Where do you appeal to them? You start appealing to them where you will find them contextually Meaning that if you find someone who took a survey on IM database for the best all-time science fiction series, or the best all-time science fiction character, or the best all-time shifter or love or ship couple, you can usually find them. I can guarantee you can find them on Twitter. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on TikTok. Don't do TikTok, y'all. Please don't do TikTok right now. Okay, because they spying on you. But anyway, you can find them on Reddit. Most people don't like to go to these places, but they call Reddit the internet of socializing for a reason, because they're not going to let you just come in there and throw a buy my book for 99 cents free on Amazon. They're not going to let you do that. You're going to have to audition for them. So what ends up happening when you start to approach these early adopters who you figured out, oh, they like this kind of trope, and I can turn this trope into something new, because you by now you know how to take something and make a derivative of it, or you know how to turn it to a special twist. You know how to do this stuff. You guys have been in 20 books and been listening and learning, so you know this. Trust yourself. So now you got this, right? Don't spend all your time writing a 60K-er. Write 3K, write 6K. Heck, if it gets good to you, write 12K. Because remember, you're auditioning. And when I say auditioning, that means that what you're doing, instead of throwing up, buy my book on Amazon, don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. Because they weren't looking for books, but they were looking to be entertained. So instead, what you're going to do is, especially if you're on your social media, you're going to say, hey, y'all, I was watching this show and I love it, and I wrote a little something about it. If you want to check it out, I'm giving it away for free. Here you go. People, especially early adopters who want to be entertained, they cannot pass up an invite to possibly be entertained. Okay? Now you need to write for your life. You need to write the tightest story that you can have. Don't try to do a lot of triple Lindy somersaults. Take one problem, one situation, and make it go boom, and audition that. Okay? And it's going to resonate with them because you've studied them. What will start to happen is they will be like, oh, I like this. Oh, wow, this was great. I've never read a book, or because, they'll always tell you. And these are the ones you get, Craig. Let me tell you ones you get. I'm nonfiction person. I don't read fiction. Well, you're going to read my stuff,
Yeah.
because you've already told me that maybe you like these types of movies, or you like this type of game. And I've already looked behind or underneath the game or the movie or the video series, and I saw the trope, because tropes are universal. So that's the part of you being a servant. You're going to serve them with a new option, because you not only are you a servant, but you're an applicant. You're on a job interview. You are auditioning and you are interviewing for their next candidate that they hire to allow them to be entertained. Craig, does that make sense? Do you have any anything you want to put in?
That is great. One thing I want to ask you is, people always write a book and they're like, I don't know what genre it belongs in. How can they then go and find what's a process to search for a similar trope?
Okay, so when you're looking for your similar trope, what I would invite you guys to do is to look at the aftermath feeling that they get, so that you can start translating that into a book trope. It's not hard. Don't think it's woo-woo. Let me just say this. If it's horror, the aftermath is they feel good because they got scared and you help to relieve the tension. If it's a romance, they feel good because now they can be happy that somebody out here can find some love that doesn't blow up in their face. If if you look at the aftermath and it's science fiction and they feel excited because they have mind blown, I'm in a new world with new possibilities, you can probably say that it's sci-fi. If they feel I did that, or I feel satiated because a puzzle or a clue was solved, it's going to be mystery or however. And so that's the easiest way to translate it. I have found great mystery thriller suspense stuff in first person shooter games. Don't ask me, I do. But it's also
Right.
you gotta start no, Royal Road doesn't have a referral code. You just sign up for free and you can start whatever. But what I would tell you is first go and check some of them and learn the lay of the land before you just start posting. Okay, because they do have a large Asian Royal Road and web novel, but of the two, I would say Royal Road is better because you have more Americans. And I will say this also, and I'm going to get back to my point I was making. I do most of my reader research on Royal Road. Find some of the best selling, scroll down, and guess what Royal Road does? They rank them, and other people get to rank their review. So they can't come and bomb something because they don't like it. They've got to defend why they said something about it. Because other people like, no, what you're not finna do, and I said finna, what you're not finna do is come in here and trash this book. So they have to give a real quality review, or they're pushed down, suppressed by downvotes and all of that, and their ratings, because they as reviewers get a rating, and they're pushed up by giving real information. So when Amazon started doing all that craziness with the reviews and all of that kind of stuff, and I didn't think they were reliable anymore, I started going. And you can also get a lot of insight off of web novels reviewers too, but I like Royal Road's reviews the best because not only are they very detailed, they'll tell you what they like about the book. They'll get down to granular stuff about the pacing and the character development. And the thing is most of these books have thousands of chapters. You heard me, thousands of chapters, because they treat them like a diary and they just write every day. Okay, so let me go back to this because I don't want to keep droning on and on. All right, so the servant part. I'm just trying to make sure I'm useful.
Roll. You are on a complete roll. And this, I tell you what, Michelle, this is great information. Somebody had posted, I think it was Elaine, that said, I'm going to have to watch this 3 times to get all the information. So that's great because I get the same thing from Mal Cooper because she talks so damn fast and hits so many points. But that's a good thing. That's really good because you're giving them an awful lot of information in a very short amount of time and a way to think. We don't want to tell people what to think. We want to teach them how to think. And that's what you're doing. Hey, go do your own research. It's setting up the buffet, but they still have to fill their own plates. So I appreciate it. No, keep rocking and rolling.
Okay, I'm just watching my time here. So the servant part is where you audition and you pretend, imagine, visualize, if you will, that you're auditioning for a job. And remember, we don't care about readers. We care about the meta, the bigger part of the entertainment industry. And never say who won't read. You never know, because they might not read anybody else's stuff, but if they like you, they'll read your stuff. And that's where you start. And it kind of happened weird for me because I was like, wow, my demographic looks totally different now than what Facebook groups used to tell me. It was, I get so many different people that read me around the world now. And like I said, they are fans in the stands of my parade, holding the pom-poms and baking cakes for me and my books.
We love cake.
Yes. And wouldn't you like it to be where that with like an army of just 200, you can wreck up some stuff? And if you say, you guys, I'm putting out a book and I really would like the help. Do you know what they're going to do? These types of this quality of market, not only are they going to buy the book, but they're going to be like, well, what else can I do for you? And you'd be like, well, if you know anybody you like, I have people now. If I put out a book, they'll go and gift 10 more books, and they will say, I love everything she writes. You're gonna laugh. You're not gonna figure out who did it, and they will give out the books.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people Facebooking me saying, I got this book through and I went back and I read everything, because when you qualify and make this kind of market, your read through from your backlist explodes.
And that is way, way cool. This is backlist has value. So always keep writing, always keep moving forward. This morning I sent out a newsletter. I have a list of some 8,000. Almost all of them are now organic. The quickie, hey, list builders, those people have all left.
Yeah.
I sent that out. And at the very bottom, I always say, here's what I'm doing. And I'm rewriting a mystery series right now. I'm a science fiction author, science fiction, everything science fiction. And all of a sudden, it's like, I'm rewriting a mystery series that we wrote last year, and it bombed because I targeted the wrong audience. I went after cozy mystery fans of Murder, She Wrote and stuff like that. No, this isn't what we were looking for. We're looking for pure mystery. Well, doing a rewrite, cleaning it up. And I asked at the very last line of my newsletter, I said, this is a 250,000 word book. I don't need it re-edited, but can I get some proofreaders? And I've already gotten emails. I sent it like 20 minutes before we went live. And I've already gotten emails from people saying, yes, I would love to read this for you. These are the early adopters. These are your fans. This is your street team. And these are just folks on my newsletter list. I can't wait to send them an email back saying, I love the fact that thank you for volunteering. I'll send it as soon as I'm done. And here's what I'd like. Because one of them asked, what do you want me to do? And I'm really I want typos. Is there any place where you felt like this is crap, I want to stop reading? And let me know that, and I'll tweak that up as well. So this is the early adopters, those fans. I mean, you can't beat those kinds of fans. And Michelle has given you gold on how to go find them. So anyway, please keep dishing it out.
Now, I want you guys to understand that everything I've told you to do does not cost you anything. Okay. There is a tool that you can use. It has a paid version, but you can do a lot with the free version. It is called ubersuggest.io. That is where you can also do some reverse engineering to find your people or to find what they're interested in. So this is moving into, so remember I said our journey is we move from servant to foot soldier to comrade to respected influencer. So once you have located where they congregate online by, like I said, going to these entertainment places, and then you start auditioning for their attention by putting stuff up on your social media. Like you can do Twitter threads each day. You can do like 5 segments of 200 characters. That would be 1,000 words a day. And just do it like that. You'll probably have nobody checking for you at first, but guess what starts to happen? You roll out a 10K or you roll out a 18K that way, people start to be like, oh, because they are searching to be entertained. And folks end up landing on, guess what? Places where, ubersuggest.io, that is correct, where they end up on places where there is new original content. Twitter will start to reward you when you put new original content in daily. That is free advertising. You guys, I'm telling you how to do this without having to pull out your wallet. So let's talk about,
and without a buy my book kind of market campaign, which is less than optimal, shall we say.
Yeah, because it doesn't work. You're in that chum-filled red ocean of mainstream buyers who don't care about you. Okay, so you start doing this. Say, for instance, you write a version of Animal Crossing for Nintendo Switch. You just turn it into a lit and you put it out. It's going to take off. Or if you do it right, it'll start to take off. When I say take off, you'll probably get maybe about 15, 20 retweets. You'll get some love here and there. And then they'll be like, oh, it ended. What's the next one? Or that kind of thing, and so you can keep it going. That's free. Uber Suggest. Now, just go with me here because I'm not sharing my screen or anything, but with Uber Suggest, this is what I want you to do. Okay, now this is some kind of stuff. Go into Uber Suggest and type in tvtropes.org. It is going to give you, when you scroll down, it is going to give you the top pages. I'm already going to tell you that the top pages are going to have something about some little uh, anime little girl. But you can go in there, and depending on the anime, because sometimes it'll take you to her page, or it'll take you to the types of tropes she's been engaged in. And anime is a gateway to most entertainment. That's why don't sleep on anime. Anime crosses over into literature, video games, movies, and television. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a freaking anime reimagination for Americans. Let's just be honest. Okay, she was a demon slayer, but you could find that trope over and over again in anime 20 years before it came out here. And anime usually is a predictor of what's going to be hot 3 to 5 years, not even 3 now because it's shortened, 2 to 5 years here. Reverse harem, anime. Lit RPG, anime. The Russians got it and started writing about these books because they were writing about sword play and putting it in a game and leveling up, and then they turned it into lit RPG. So don't sleep on that. Let me repeat this. ubersuggest.iu. Start with tvtropes.org. Go down, see the top pages. Then you start mining for information that speaks to you. Have you noticed I have not forced you to go and on Amazon at all? I have not forced you to go and steal and pull people's stuff. I have not told you to go and study everything about those folks and just try to do a knockoff copy of them, because you don't have to. And so once you do that, then come back, ubersuggest.com. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to put in ranker.com. Ranker is a list where people come and they vote on stuff every day. You don't have to pay for surveys. I used to try to go pay for a survey and beg people to take my survey. No, people do it for free on Ranker. And most of what I want, I can find on there. It's free. So I use UberSuggest, Ranker.com. I do the same thing. Go down, look at the pages that are popular. And then I go and I look at them. Sometimes they're going to lead you to a list of the top male protagonists, the top, the best science fiction of all time. You can go through, and when I tell you over and over again, when you start getting used to researching this way, and forget about Amazon. Remember, Amazon thinks you are a parasite. Now, Craig, this is what I told my people. I said, because I have a lot of women, Amazon thinks that you are an underboob tick. That's what I told them.
Jeez, we like underboobs. At least the pictures. But the parasite. Keep in mind, and this is for the audience. Anything you get for free, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. And you remember Michelle's advice right up front. Don't be active. Join these groups as an observer and learn. It's the interactive people. Those are your folks seeking entertainment. So please understand that if you're not paying for the service, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Don't be the product by contributing to this flood. Twitter, I think people that are there only to be outraged, and you're telling me they're not. So because I haven't been on Twitter in 3 years, so
well,
that's a completely different issue.
With Twitter, I used to be scared of them. And then I realized that there are a lot of people who are on Twitter, and everything has a cycle. And there are people who will be outraged, but then they want to go and look at all the stuff that gives them the feels. And if I decide to put up a 5-day something of 5,000 words to test out an idea, and I do it on a pen name. I don't do it on my name. I just, because I got like 9 Twitters. So I'll put it on a pen name, and I can see if that moves them organically, because I haven't sent ads to there or anything. It lets me know that these are my people, because you want early adopters, because early adopters search. They search out, and there is a certain reward. There's the seeker's reward. When they search out and they find you and they like you, they latch on to you, and then they want to buy your stuff. Ranker.com is correct. Yes. The last time $1 million worth of intel for free. Thank you. I just want, like I said, I wanted to be useful and serve, because anything for Craig. Okay.
It's because it's all for 20 books. And this is you're doing a great thing, and I'm going to revise the schedule for Vegas on November 10th. You'll be first on, and you'll stay on until the last session of November 12th, and we'll just all sit in on you, and we'll be good. So you have 135 sessions in 3 days. So
that's fine. That's fine.
So start thinking about that now. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to finish up because I was looking at the time. So this is part of what I talked about, your journey of foot soldier. When you're using that, you're being the foot soldier to go and look at everything and carry this goal with you of where and how to start making your audience. The next part is more even diabolical. So I got 8 minutes to be very dark psychology with y'all. And that is the indoctrination of your now tribe. All right. So now that you have been a servant to go and figure out stuff and put stuff out, you've been a foot soldier. And when I say foot soldier, I'm talking about like a spy. Going out and seeing. Remember how Craig was like, this is your observation. Now you're going to start to influence them. And there is a positioning that you do. You position yourself as a comrade. Don't go in there talking about, oh, I'm an author. I'm just a published author. Don't do that. People don't care. They are not checking for you here because they are not classifying themselves as readers. They might be readers, but they're not classifying themselves. So what you now want to do is you want to offer value as a colleague. And this is where you're going to start to engage in content marketing. Now, content is all about context. And if you can't remember that, just think, when I go into a place, how far away am I from where they are? If you are on a thread on Twitter and they are talking about some outrage, and you're like, I'm clicking on the people and I'm seeing that they are influential. I'm seeing that they have a lot of followers. Then what you can do is you can get off of the rant and then you can go into where they are just being themselves, because Twitter is really disarming. It's very hypnotic. You have people that will be enraged, but then they will tell you all the real deep stuff about them. They'll tell you what they like, what they love, who they hate, and all of this. And so you can start to get a feel for how to be their comrade. Now, how do you be their comrade? You start sharing things that make them look good, give them insight, tickle their curiosity, and the like. That's not just memes. That can be articles, that can be hot takes, that can be stuff that you found on YouTube that you think is nice or whatever. And the reason why you want to do this, remember, we haven't talked about buy my book, not yet, is because you want to have them see you as a comrade in arms. You out here in this world just like me, And so if I like finance, because my MBA was in finance, but my undergrad was in marketing. And so I tend to follow a lot of the finance folks. And y'all, I have a sapiosexual crush. That means that you love knowledge, y'all. Okay. I have a sapiosexual crush on this one guy. And now he and I follow each other. And he writes for the collaborative fund. He listens to my podcast. And it is because I'm telling you what I did, not what I hoped. And so I started interacting. If he said something that I thought was of value, I would retweet it. And then I would put an addendum and I would be like, shout out to Morgan. Yes, his name is Morgan. Shout out to Morgan for reminding me of, this concept. Those were the good old days. And I might list a book link. Okay. Because what I'm subconsciously doing is changing it over to the fact that I'm a reader. And appealing to that side, or going and finding something on Medium or something like that to do that. Now, let me just tell y'all, when you link to something, if you link to the big guys like your Amazons, your Mediums, and that, there's a little something about the SEO because they have the authority. So what you're doing is you're leveraging the authority of the quality of the stuff that you're using to prove to be a comrade. And I don't want to get too deep on this because my time is almost up and I need to finish up. So once you start doing that, it's not going to happen overnight, or sometimes it might. But once you start doing that, you start moving into where you're going to start becoming influential. You'll actually have people come and at you on stuff and then say, what's your take? Now, be careful of hot takes. As an author, you don't want to be on record for giving flippant hot takes on trending issues, because when you clown online, sometimes the clown comes back to bite. So the internet is forever. But what you want to do is, as you are offering this stuff and becoming a comrade, you might get DMs, you might get folks adding you in public to come and check something out. And what you will then do is you will make sure that the social media for your pen name is all about your books, all about buy my books. Y'all, I have a daily podcast and I sell more books through my daily podcast that don't talk about books than I ever did trying to sell direct. And it is because of doing this kind of thing. Okay,
that's content marketing.
Yeah. Content marketing. If you're going to change genres, is it smart to find your market for the new genre? Yes. Or to wait until you have books published in that actual genre? No. You can build massive lists before you even publish by doing this kind of stuff. Go look up Lester Dent's 6K plot. And it's normally set up for mystery, thriller, and suspense, but you're taking 4 sections of 1,500 and strip out the part that doesn't apply to you, but make sure that you have an engaging character with some nice tags and traits. Throw in some action. I'm going to tell y'all there are 3 components that every book needs: humor, action, and romance. And even if the romance does not mean romantic, it can mean friendship. Okay. Yeah. All right. And make sure you put that in there and send that stuff out, audition it. And what hits, you keep going. What doesn't, you haven't wasted a lot of time. But to indoctrinate your tribe, once you get that and you start getting some followers, make sure that everything about that pen name blasts to the world that I am a fiction author. And what will start to happen, just Google Michelle Spiva Wisdom Smack and you'll find my podcast. If that's
Wisdom
okay, Craig,
Smacks.
I'm sorry.
Snacks,
no,
is that like Twinkies? Smack.
Mm-hmm.
Gob smack. Okay.
Yeah.
Wisdom smack.
So I hope that was okay. But and I wasn't saying that to whatever, but like today is episode 342. So nice, people Netflix me now. Seriously, people Netflix me now. But anyway, my time is up.
We've been on for almost an hour, and you have been extremely insightful as a prelude to Vegas, because Vegas, baby. First time I met you was Vegas, I think 2017. I think you came and joined us. It was exceptional, and you remain an exceptional human being. And thank you very much for sharing your wisdom and all the research you did. You didn't tell people how to fish or what to fish for. You just said, here's how I fish, which is, that's the 20 books way. Here's how I fish, and it has worked for me. And it worked wildly in a way that, I mean, it helps. Yes, you've got an undergrad in marketing. You have a graduate degree in an MBA and finance. My son has his undergrad in finance, and so I love that stuff. But the melding of those experiences, and as I say, none of us are as smart as all of us. And here's an opportunity, learn a little bit from Michelle, how she got to where she is. Well, she went to a lot of schooling and got real smart, and then practiced and got here. So you're starting your journey. If you're just getting into marketing, understand that there's a long road ahead, but you don't have to know it all. All you have to do is start finding success with one thing. And the absolute best thing, and this is why when people join 20 books, you're on post approval for 30 days, because just like Michelle's advice, go watch before you dive in and start posting. because nobody cares about you. Be a comrade, and then work your way up until you are a thought leader and an influencer of sorts. So this is valuable advice. This is also life advice. You join the PTA. Hey, I'm a new member of the PTA. Don't come in all, hey, here's donuts for everybody. Let me tell you how I want this to work. No, you need to listen, watch, and then work your way up, and engage with the issues. The anime tropes is another thing, because we looked at wuxia. What does that? Because that's Chinese, huge. Well, if you come back to the U.S. market, it's not as huge in the U.S. market, and it has not taken off. Despite Will White's success, it has not taken off. So is there a wuxia market here in the U.S.? Jury's still out on that. But go to anime and see what the next big trope might be. That's great guidance. And some of you may disappear forever into watching anime and we'll never get you back. But
Right.
but don't do that. Limit your video watching. Which my screen time
Craig,
on my iPad went up from 8 to 19 minutes last week.
Oh, wow. Do people know about Crunchyroll? So if you don't have Hulu or Netflix and you don't see what they're talking about, normally that's an aftermarket to Americans. If you want to catch what people are talking about right now, you can go to crunchyroll.com. You can they have an app on your phone. You can do it on your desktop. You don't have to have the paid version. You'll just have a lot of commercials. But crunchyroll.com is another place where I do research. Like I go into Uber Suggest, and sometimes I'll throw crunchyroll.com in there and see what people are watching.
That's
for anime.
More incredible advice, just to help you research, because it's still, the onus is on you to do your research. And because this is why we don't allow posts on 20 books of 50K about, hey, I've written a book, what genre is it? You do that. You are responsible for that. You're going to own that decision. Don't try to pawn that decision and responsibility off on somebody else, because they're not going to take it. Well, I told you this, but I hadn't read the book. So yeah. So I'm not going to tell you what.
Can I quickly give a shout out to Hal J. Green? I used John Green as one of my case studies back in the end of 2017, when I first started having carpal tunnel problems and everything. And I studied him and his brother. And is that Hank, him and his brother Hank, and how he launched all of those books, Fault of Our Stars and all that. And I was like, how do you get this? Because I actually said, Craig, how do you get this many people to love
followers?
But then he's writing about cancer in kids. I was like, good God, you got to be good. But then I realized that he was making his own market and writing what he wants. You guys, once they start to look at you as a respected influencer, they will buy whatever you're putting out. That's how you can go back to Amazon, walking in there like, I got this, and nobody will be able to steal them off your page. They won't go to what's the bestseller list. They'll go directly to your link. They will push the buy button, and then they will go to Amazon Pantry and get that toilet paper that they need. But they will go and buy your stuff. And what I normally am experiencing now is that they don't go and just buy a book. They buy a series because they love me. I mean, they have no problem spending $25, $30, and I never ask them, because people want to discover. People want to buy what they found out about, not what you forced on them. And that's really what this comes down to.
Yep. It's the passive sales technique. Being an influencer. I mean, what great advice. Thank you very much, Michelle. I really appreciate it. And also now I'm hungry for grits. Because every time I'm in the South, every time I'm in the South, it's like, hey, let's go for grits. And with your accent, it's like, oh yeah, you got me. I'm a slave. And then we'll go someplace nice and get grits. Because grits. I'm from the north. I'm from the north.
Yes, you're from the north.
We don't have grits up there. But the last time my dad went to South Carolina, he picked up some grits, and I'm like, yeah. So he dropped them off last year, and I think I'll have grits for breakfast this morning. So thank you very much, Michelle. You have been exceptional as always, and it's going to be great to see you in Vegas. I have high hopes that we'll all be coming to Vegas, even if you're wearing a mask. So Don't change your gray hair because it makes you
Okay.
unique. And
I
for
earned
everybody's,
it. I earned it.
that's right. This is like a badge of honor. For everybody else, I'm going to change rather significantly between today and tomorrow because my wife has vowed to cut my hair. Wish me well. I'll be different tomorrow. I won't be me because I think it's going to be put on the half-inch clip thing and do it all. So it may. I have no interaction with humanity besides these shows, and I can always put on a hat if I'm really feeling bad about it. So if I'm wearing a hat tomorrow,
Okay.
don't talk about my hair. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much. And tomorrow,
Thank
I actually don't have a guest.
everybody.
I got to go send a couple notes, and we'll have a good one. Thank you. You've been exceptional, Michelle. I love Michelle. There's no. It's
I
okay. It's
love
out there.
Craig.
It's out there. It's out there. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Everybody have a great day.